that it's exactly, nobody wins in that scenario. And so in NCFCA and in STOA, you'll hit a lot of people that are like, and this may seem foreign to you, but Tucker can add in. They're like, my affirmative case, I haven't told anybody what it is, and you can't find out unless you hit us, and I'm not going to tell you even if you pay me like $5. I'm not even going to put it in a brief trade because my affirmative case is so secret because I want to win every affirmative round because nobody knows about my affirmative case. And I hate those debaters because, and Isaiah will tell, I don't hate those debaters, I just hate that mindset. Because this is what I did. When I found out the team that I was hitting and the round started in 15 minutes, I would go up to them and give them a copy of my 1AC so that they could spend the next 15 minutes preparing. You know why? Because at the first tournament, I went 3-3 because everybody knew what my case was and they all brought out arguments against it. So I suffered at one tournament. However, by the end of that tournament, I knew every argument that they were going to run against my case, and everybody knew what my case was. So I was well prepared, and everybody else knew my case. And everybody else was well prepared, and they all knew my case. So every round was educational because we got to debate about what mattered. We didn't have to debate about my case. We got to debate about what my case did, the morals and the ethics behind why we were passing my case, and how important saving people's lives really was. And if you could put a number value on human life, etc., etc.
I don't know what he thinks, but I will say, if you have one team that you debate and you hit them over and over and over again, like in your region, and they beat you every single time, do not be afraid to make a new case and pull it out when you hit them.
Exactly, yeah.
Because, I mean, not only does it give you the upper hand in competition, which is totally
yeah,
fair,
yeah.
you know,
It's competition.
The opportunity to make good arguments against your new
right,
too.
Exactly. So that's and that's a really good point because debate is competition. And why do we compete unless we want to win? Like, you guys are novices, so you're still learning debate, you're still learning speaking stuff. Once you get to a certain point, you debate to win because you're good as you're going to ever get. Like,
yeah, a caveat to that.
Yeah.
Don't ever run a case like that on a novice. Don't do it
Yeah.
just to win. Do it against someone you know
is good. Right.
Before.
Right.
What?
What? Ty Harding. He has a really good one. How much time do we have? Okay, we're doing good. Okay, so education and good debate happens when both people are very well prepared on the issue. However, as he said, when you're hitting people that you know are like, I hit the team, the number 1 ranked team in the nation 4 times in a row, 4 different times throughout the year, and they beat me every single time. Number 1, because they were good debaters. Now, I wasn't too shabby myself. Like, I think I was ranked in the top 25 for sure. But the reason is because I knew their case like nobody's business. Actually, that was the crowning glory of my entire brief making, was against their case. They knew their case like nobody's business. I tried one debate strat, they beat it. The next time we debated, I tried a topical counter plan, and they beat it. The next time we debated, I tried a 35-page speed and spread strat, and they beat it. And the 4th time we debated, I pulled out all the stops. I ran a topical counter plan with a 45-page speed and spread strat, and I listed all these different reasons why they were wrong. And they got up there and they beat it. But I got the last laugh because I changed my strat one more time to combine all of these for the best possible way. And they hit the second best team. I was the best team. Me and my sister were the best team in our club. But the second best team, which was the guy that does this, who's been to nationals 3 times in a row, they hit them in quarterfinals at Nats. And he took my brief and ran everything and ended up beating them. So what happens is, sometimes you just, you got to keep revising. You got to keep knowing the case. Keep being on top of things. Keep being willing to learn. Because when you get up there and you run a case that nobody knows about, or they run a case that nobody knows about, they didn't switch cases on me. They were so confident. They're like, we beat this kid 3 times. We're going to beat him the 4th time. And I was like, no, you're not. And then they were like, suck it. We just beat you. So I lost 4 times, but I kept being educated about the case. I kept learning about it. You kept learning from each loss, and that's how education happens. Yeah.
So would you say that's a good strategy to get to know all of, not all of them,
yeah,
but get to know the top competitors that you're going to have to
Oh yeah.
face?
Oh yeah, because you never know who you're going to hit. during the first round of a tournament. Later rounds in the tournaments, they do what's called power matching. They make the good teams hit the good teams. The teams that are doing well hit the good teams. But the first round of a tournament, my freshman year, it was my first debate round ever, and we hit the number 3 seed team in the nation. And he actually goes. His name is Jeremy Chia, and he goes to this school. And we got our butts handed to us on the silver platter. But I learned so much. Like, you don't know who you're going to hit first round of a tournament. Like, you guys could go up against, Blake Tolman or Hansen and Baldacci. They're two guys they're teaming up, and they're, like, really good, to be honest. Like, Baldacci's written stuff for Ethos. Like, I've mentored him. Like, he's good. And so you guys don't know who you're going to hit. So you always should be educated about the teams, their debating styles, and like I said, how do you win negative teams before the debate round begins? You study up on it. You realize all the different stuff that can happen. You take care of all the variables. Does that take a lot of time? Yes. A mom once asked me, she came up to me and she goes, so, like, how much time does my kid have to spend on a debate? Like, does he have to spend a lot if he wants to win? Does he have to spend a little? Can he win with just a little? And I looked at her and I just said, yes. Why? Because debate is directly equivalent to the amount of time that you put into it. You want to be good, you got to put a lot of time into it. You got to want to be good at karate, you got to put years into it. You want to be good at basketball, you got to put years into it. You want to be good at debating, you got to put years into it. By the end of my senior year at debate, when I compiled all of the evidence that I had used for that year, all of the evidence I had printed that year, I think that it was like 3 feet 9 inches tall of paper. Like, literally it was that tall, just a stack. Because I was a voracious researcher. Did it eat up a lot of my time that I should have been doing in school? Yes, but I thought it was worth it. You know, so it's depending on what your priorities are. How bad do you want to win negative? So, one more thing for squirrel cases. So, that whole tangent that I went on, forget that. Back to squirrel cases. He's got a lot of good things to say.
That's even more hilarious, though, because you just went on a tangent.
Exactly. Exactly. There was a piece of evidence that is insanely hard to find. If you can find this piece of evidence and cut it for me, like in the next year, because it took me 2 years to find this, then I'll give you like a debater, like bronze award plaque or something. It's by a guy, and I'll even give you all the credentials so that you can find it, and it'll still be hard for you to find. His name is Richard F. Elmore. He was a professor at the University of Pennsylvania, I believe. In fact, don't worry, hold on, just hold your horses. I'm going to pull the piece of evidence up on my computer right now so I can look at. Let me see. I won't give you the URL or anything important, but I'll give you the skeleton. Let's see, Elmore evidence.
My class has a theory. Everything is on the internet if you know how to phrase it. Like, you can find anything on Google. I have found answer keys for almost every assignment on the internet because I know how to phrase it.
Okay, but this is going to be a lot of fun. The date is 1979 to 1980. Sorry, no, University of Washington. I got that one wrong. There's another guy from Pennsylvania.
What's the evidence on?
Don't worry. I'll give you a not a word for word quote, but a paraphrase. And I'm going to explain it. 90%. Why did I write 19? 90% of the success of any government policy happens in the implementation, not the drafting. Can anybody decipher that for me?
The success of a government plan, it's not in how it's written out, it's how the government goes about putting it into.
Right. So what does that mean for every single affirmative case that has the government do something? Exactly. However, that means that every single affirmative case that has the government do anything has a 10% probability of success as how they put it. That doesn't mean that their plan won't work. It just means that their plan will work differently than they tell you, because 90% of its success is going to happen in a different way than they tell you.
So you could put this in almost any
Every single, right. Now, you have to structure it, you have to make it palatable, and you have to learn how to argue it. Ask Ty how to argue this, because it's a great way to argue it. But what it means to the judge, and this is based off multiple studies that they conducted in every area of business, law, medical industry, all of that. They get up there and they tell you, advantage 1, advantage 2, judge, look at us, we're rolling through our advantages. We have 4 advantages and they're beautiful. Vote, affirmative, kiss the 1AC, bow down to it, all of that fun stuff. And you're like, great. Drop this little nuke on them. And you're like, that's all cool. But you know what? There's a 90% chance that 90% of your policy will happen different than you say it is. So advantage 1 could actually happen in 25 years. And advantage 2 could actually happen at a 10% lower rate than you thought. And advantage 3 might only save 27 lives instead of 35. And advantage 4 might not happen at all because everybody hates what you're going to do. And so what it is, it's not a hard and fast rule. So don't pretend like this is gospel, because it's not. There's studies that say the other way. But this is just really helpful. What it says basically is, we don't know. And that's exactly what you want to do. Judge, we don't know. Nobody knows. The affirmative team doesn't even.